Well, good afternoon, John and Mary. I appreciate you giving me a little bit of time to kind of walk through some of the ideas and thoughts that I put together for you. I appreciate the time that you took with me on the phone to kind of answer some of our questions so that we could custom design a solution for you here today. But before we jump into what my recommendations are, I do like to take all of my clients through a presentation that I call Protection for Life. It's just kind of a high level overview of some things that I think you should understand as you're navigating through this decision tree when it comes to purchasing, health insurance. So to begin with, just a quick introduction. My name is Silas Jessup. I've actually been in the insurance business for about 23 years. I've got a team of agents that work under my umbrella and a team of assistants that actually work directly for me to kind of help support me in my personal practice. I actually live here in Northern Indiana. I've got a wife and 3 children you can see on the screen. And so our ages are 12, 15 and 17 now. So we do have a senior in high school. But the majority of the work that I do is helping guide consumers who don't have access to corporate style benefit packages. So we really have an expertise in individual health insurance, small group insurance, supplemental insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, and then Medicare benefits for people who are age 65 years and older. The organization that I represent, I am self-employed, but I am tied directly to Health Markets Insurance Agency. Health Markets is one of the largest distributors of individual health insurance and Medicare benefits in the country. We have over 3,000 agents nationwide. We're actually owned by a Fortune 4 organization called United Health Group. So we are a part of a very large ecosystem. United Health Group also owns United Healthcare, which is the largest insurance company in the nation. They own Optum Health. They're the largest owner of private medical practices, and they actually own Health Markets. Even though we're a part of that United Health Group ecosystem, we do represent hundreds of different insurance companies on a national basis. I think the number's up to now over 300 different insurance companies that we represent. And you can see many of the names that you probably recognize, Aetna, Anthem, Cigna, Humana, United Healthcare, Transamerica, just to name a few. We are truly brokers. So what that means is that I feel it's my job to understand your situation so that I can then pull different pieces from the product portfolio that we have to custom design a solution for you and hopefully help, protect you from catastrophic events and help provide the coverage at the price that you need it. Obviously, where you're at in life really determines what type of products that we're looking at. People who are younger in life have different set of needs than people who are middle-aged and people, that are approaching a retirement age. And so really my goal as your trusted advisor or is to be your trusted advisor for as long as you'll have me. There are going to be changes that are going to happen throughout the course of your lifetime, and we really feel that we're positioned well to help you navigate that. So it's kind of confusing to think about what health insurance really is. I think there's several different pieces that we should look at, and I'm going to kind of lay this out in a little more detail for you here today. Obviously, health insurance is a really important part of the coverage that we're going to put in place for you. Health insurance is what pays your doctors and pays your hospitals. But health insurance is flawed. It has gaps and it has holes in it. Things like deductibles and out-of-pockets and out-of-network providers and travel for care and experimental treatments and drugs that aren't on the formulary list. And God forbid the lost income that you might have to deal with if you're diagnosed with a major illness or have a major accident. And so we really feel that, health insurance by itself is probably not enough to protect most consumers. And so we also look at supplemental insurance to kind of come in and fill those gaps. And so we'll talk about some different, products that I think you should consider in helping to fill some of those gaps and better protect you. And then obviously life insurance is just a natural progression of that conversation. So healthcare reform or health insurance has become very confusing for people. The Affordable Care Act was actually passed into law back in 2009, and it was fully implemented in 2014. So it's actually been over 10 years now that the Affordable Care Act has been in place. And so most people who are purchasing individual health insurance outside of a large employer plan or outside of Medicare, they do purchase it through the federal exchange, through healthcare.gov, Obamacare. That's all kind of one and the same. And when this law was originally implemented, there were some big things that it mandated. First of all, it mandated that insurance companies have to insure everyone, regardless of past health history. And they can't exclude things like pre-existing conditions for people who are sick. The plans also have to be very inclusive in what they cover. They have to cover what are called the 10 essential health benefits, but it also includes things like maternity and substance abuse and mental health and children's dental. These plans are set up in a way that there's no cap or limit on what the out-of-pocket exposure might be. And so from a coverage perspective, the coverage is actually pretty significant and pretty good. Obviously, though, because insurance companies have to insure everybody, regardless of past health history, and they can't pick and choose who they want to insure, we find that the actual raw premiums for individual health insurance plans can be quite expensive. Fortunately, there are what are called government subsidies available for most Americans to help offset that cost. And we'll help you calculate what government subsidy you might be eligible for today. But what we're looking at is we're looking at your household size and your projected adjusted gross income for the year that you're receiving the subsidies. Those subsidies then are able to be used, and you can capture those. They're paid directly to the insurance company of your choice, and they help offset whatever the cost of the premium is. If you think about it, if you were working for a large employer or had access to group insurance through an employer, that employer would be helping offset the costs. But because you don't have access to group insurance through an employer, the government is willing to subsidize this. These subsidies are really available for people who meet certain criteria. And really the two big criteria are, number one, you can't have access to group insurance through an employer. And number two, you have to fall within certain income brackets to be able to be eligible for them. Now, that being said, most people do qualify for government subsidies based on their income. A recent statistic that I saw showed that over 90% of Hoosiers actually fall into an income bracket where they may qualify for government subsidies to help offset the premiums. So we'll look at all that for you today, and that'll certainly be a part of the work that we do for you. We mentioned that there are some protections that you receive under the Affordable Care Act. Lifetime limits are prohibited. You can't be refused. Children can stay on their parents' plan through age 26. Preventative services like annual exams and mammograms and PAPs and routine physicals have to be covered at 100%. These subsidies are a very real thing and can really help offset the cost. And then all plans have to include the essential health benefits that we discussed. Obviously, health insurance is a big part of protecting you. The health insurance, if you think about it, is what pays your doctors and your hospitals for medically necessary FDA-approved treatments. And without health insurance, not only can care be extremely expensive, but it may be difficult to get and to obtain. In non-emergency situations, providers don't have to treat you if you don't have health insurance in place. And so it's really important part and kind of the foundational pillar of what we're going to put together for you today. One of the things that I like to talk to all my clients about, though, is that when you do have health insurance, whether it's group insurance, individual health insurance like we're talking about today, Medicare benefits, there are always gaps and holes that are a part of those particular programs. One of the statistics that I share with my clients is that 66.5% of all bankruptcies were actually tied to medical issues. And 41% of people with health insurance report having debt due to medical bills. And so even with a good insurance plan, that's going to pay your doctors and hospitals, there are still high deductibles and out-of-pocket limits. There's the potential for travel for care and experimental treatments and drugs that may not be on the formulary list and out-of-network care. And then another big one for many of our clients is lost income. Most consumers that we work with, if they're not working, they're not making money. And so if something catastrophic happens, like a cancer diagnosis or a major accident, not only are they dealing with the medical bills and the deductibles and the out-of-pockets, but they're also dealing with lost income, which makes it difficult to put food on the table, pay the mortgage or the rent, keep the other payments up that are in the family. And so we highly recommend that our clients consider what's called supplemental insurance to fill those gaps. 61% of Americans do live paycheck to paycheck. And so what supplemental insurance does is it's a benefit that creates a lump sum cash infusion in the moment. It kind of creates an emergency fund in the moment. It pays a cash benefit directly to you, and then you can use that money for any purpose, like paying your deductibles and out-of-pockets and helping compensate for that lost income, during the days or months or weeks that you weren't able to work. So we really feel that supplemental insurance really, works nicely with the base health insurance plan. Life insurance is also an important part of our conversation. When someone's asking me to help guide them on their insurance products, I feel like I have a responsibility to also make sure that if they don't come home tomorrow, that the rest of the family is well protected. And so we'll talk a little bit about life insurance. You give me a little bit of information on the phone, and I have some additional thoughts around maybe some enhancements to your current life insurance portfolio that we can look at. So really, this protection for life process that we embrace has three primary components. Obviously, there's the health insurance plan, which is kind of the focal point. It can be surprisingly affordable because of these government subsidies that are available. But obviously, with those gaps and holes, we want to use supplemental insurance to kind of fill those gaps and holes and create that emergency fund in the moment if you have a major illness or a major accident, or if you're hospitalized, to kind of help offset that cost. And then oftentimes, life insurance is just a natural progression of this conversation. So this has kind of been a high level overview of things that I think you should understand. I've actually taken some time to put some options together for you in preparation for today's conversation. But before we work our way into those recommendations, are there any questions that I can answer for you on anything that we've spoken about to this point? Okay, well, I appreciate that. We'll certainly take some time here and dive a little bit deeper into what my recommendations are for you, and hopefully find a good solution for you.